On a cold April night in 1912, Masabumi Hosono stood on the deck of the Titanic. Amidst chaos, screams, and final goodbyes, he saw women and children being lifted into lifeboats, while men awaited their fate with courage tinged with resignation. Masabumi was no coward, but he was a father and a husband, and his dream of a better life for his family was not yet fulfilled. As moments passed, he caught sight of an officer shouting, "There are 2 more seats, hurry!" Without thinking long, hope or perhaps despair led him to jump into the boat, squeezed among others searching for a last lifeline. With a final stroke of the oar, the boat moved away from the sinking ship, devoured by the ocean. Masabumi arrived in New York with the other survivors, his body alive, but his soul burdened with shame. It wasn't long before he returned to Japan, carrying a small suitcase and a heart heavier than lead. He thought his return would be a new beginning, that his wife and children would embrace him warmly, that his homeland would be proud of him as a survivor of the greatest maritime disaster of its time. But what he found were impassive faces, stony stares, and pens writing shameful headlines about him. Masabumi Hosono, the man who betrayed his honor. Hosono, a symbol of Japanese cowardice. Honor, a word heavier than any tragedy, was the knife his society had thrust into his heart. In their eyes, he should have gone down with the ship, died honorably as others had, not lived in shame. He was fired from his job at the Ministry of Transport, and the newspapers shunned him like a curse. His name became a curse, his face a symbol of shame. His wife and children didn't understand why the hero returned broken. He himself didn't understand why he was condemned to social death for daring to live. On long nights, Masabumi would sit in the darkness of his home, recalling the moment he jumped into the boat, wondering, what if I had stayed there? What if the sea engulfed me along with the others? But deep down, he knew the answer. His love for his family was stronger than fear, stronger than honor, stronger than all the laws established by people who had never known the horror of facing death head-on. As the years passed, Masabumi remained a prisoner of that night. The newspapers never apologized for him, and history didn't do him justice until long after his death. New generations understood that survival was not treason, and that staying alive was not a crime, but Masabumi wasn't there to witness this belated confession. It carried his soul to heaven, burdened with the story he was never allowed to fully tell.